So the US election is only one day away, where the Americans will choose if they want an oligarchy or if they want a fascist dictatorship under the rules of either Joe Biden or Donald Trump. Now, I haven't made too much content on these two lately, as I've shifted my content to more political and cultural stuff rather than straight up politics, but I thought you guys might be interested in what I thought about the two and how they may influence the UK's politics going forward. So, does it make a difference who's the president? Well, yes and no. Let's start with yes, it does make a difference. So, now we are leaving the EU, and I think that's the end of January where we are set in stone to leave. We obviously need trade deals with multiple different countries. Now, I've been following the US potential trade deal with the UK with disgust, because not only do they want the NHS on the table, that means they want more access to privatising it, they want more access to really increasing drug prices of US pharmaceutical companies in the UK, which will all mean more treatment is expensive, or treatment is more expensive for everyday people here. So that's super concerning, and it's not surprising that a very pro-business, pro-capitalist government in the Johnson administration, and obviously with the Trump administration, who are insane in that regard, it's not surprising they want to do this. Of course, that is the main concerning thing, but also is that the US wants the UK, since we're leaving the EU, to relax its food standards and allow chlorinated chicken into the UK's market. Now, that is obviously very concerning as well. I don't really want the UK's market to be flooded with the produce and products from America. As anyone who's been to America from the UK can tell you, which I haven't, this is just secondhand testimony, quality of food there is a lot worse, and that's because the regulations on food in America are a lot more relaxed. So the trade deal is one big sticking point. Do I think the trade deal will be amazing under Biden? No, I don't. But I don't feel like they want to punish us as much. I think that's just maybe the old neoliberal style compared to the neoconservative style, where they might want to act in good faith a tiny bit more. So that is one area, I guess. Also, the main thing for me with Trump is he's totally poisoned the culture here. People might realise, QAnon and all this Pizzagate stuff has started to take root in the UK. I blame Donald Trump for that, and because our countries are obviously very linked in terms of language, in terms of media, in terms of many things, we do have, a natural home for the insane conspiracy theories from America. And when you have the President of the United States promoting these things, of course it seeps into the culture. I also think Trump has helped exacerbate the divisions in the UK, because with the Brexit referendum and how that has changed our politics, although Brexit kind of did go hand in hand with the later Trump election, I feel the aftermath of Brexit has been the worst thing that's happened, because it's become like Trumpian in the UK. I'd say that's the best way to describe it. Trump's influence on this country's politics cannot be understated, in terms of we're trying to get to a place Americans have been at for a while, in that we're super divided, we're super zealous. Brexit is essentially like the Trump cult, because people who wanted Brexit originally still want it today, even though it's completely different, and it's essentially now very apparent we're just jumping off a cliff with no parachute, whereas before there were all these lofty promises about how great it would be, kind of like what was, the promises of Donald Trump compared to the reality. So that is the main thing, and I'm not too sure if a second election of Donald Trump really changes too much. I think he's had such a toxic influence here in the UK. I don't really think it matters so much if he gets in. I could be wrong. So for those reasons, I hope he loses. But in terms of other things, I don't think Trump has had a bigger influence, on the UK as he would have liked. Of course, we had the Trumpian style, Boris Johnson style politics, which is concerning. But in terms of foreign policy, we haven't gone along with the Americans as much as they would like. To, I guess, not my delight, but I'm kind of happy we've been a bit more rational. So the Iran nuclear deal, the US pulled out, and then they started pressuring all the European countries who are involved, like France, Germany and the UK. You better pull out as well, or we're going to pressure you financially. Thankfully, even Boris Johnson, as Foreign Secretary and now Prime Minister, has not done what Trump has wanted in terms of stuff to do with Iran, and we haven't followed a lot of Donald Trump's rhetoric towards many countries in the world. So that is one thing that is good. We didn't follow in lockstep with him, but again, I obviously have my massive problems with the UK's foreign policy in general and the standard status quo neoliberal foreign policy we have there. So in terms of Donald Trump having a massive effect on his second term, if he has it, for me it's mainly the NHS and the trade deal. And in terms of the trade deal, one thing I actually like that the Democrats have done, which would be good if Joe Biden became president, is that because Joe Biden is obviously Catholic, obviously there's a bit of a legacy of Irish Americans voting Democrat because of JFK and, RFK running for president in 1968. Thankfully, they care about the Good Friday Agreement, which Boris Johnson doesn't seem to do. So they basically said any trade deal with the US is dependent on your government basically assuring us you are not going to trample on the Good Friday Agreements with what you're trying to do with Brexit. So that is one good thing about Joe Biden. And probably for me, that is the main thing, because like I said, hopefully he gives us a decent trade deal, but I'm not expecting anything amazing. But what you can expect, I guess, is Boris Johnson and his really right-wing government will be reined in a tiny bit, because I guess a lot of you Americans don't know what's going on in the UK right now. It's kind of the same thing that's happening in the US. You just saw Trump tweet about setting up, I think it's the 1776 Commission to promote patriotic education. We're doing that right now at the moment. We're trying to ban all anti-capitalist material. Not only anti-capitalist material, all material wrote by anti-capitalists. We're trying to do that. We're trying to ban things like Black Lives Matter being shown in schools. The BBC, which is obviously linked to the government, is trying to ban all its employees from taking a political stance by attending Pride every year or talking about the trans issue. So we're going, culturally, we're following America. So I'm hoping, and also in terms of the migrant stuff, we're following America. What we're doing to asylum seekers crossing the channel right now is absolutely disgusting. And I'm hoping if Joe Biden is president, maybe, just maybe, the Tories won't be so emboldened to do all this awful stuff. I will not hold my breath. In terms of foreign policy, I expect Joe Biden to just go along with Boris Johnson, Germany and France, go back to the old status quo, of course, which is extremely problematic, but I can't see really our foreign policy changing no matter who is president. So in the short term, I guess, whoever becomes president next, it doesn't really matter in terms of having a massive impact, but it is important because there are these little issues in the UK where we deal with the US, which we will need to, I guess, change our approach or have our approach really dictated by either Joe Biden or Donald Trump. Now, I've made multiple videos about these guys about a year ago, really discussing my opinions of them. And I'm going to make a couple of videos, I guess, tomorrow before the results and after the results. But in my mind, it's you're choosing right wing or you're choosing far right. And it's basically you get to choose if you want to save the oligarchy, save the status quo, or just basically let Donald Trump devolve the US into straight up authoritarian fascism, I guess, because that seems like the way it's going with all this patriotic education nonsense and right-wing militias endorsed by the cops and Donald Trump to go around patrolling voting booths. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you're from the UK, have I left anything out? I probably have. There's multiple things to discuss when it comes to this, but I feel like the NHS and Northern Ireland are two big ones where we are, I guess, linked with the US in terms of our domestic policy. Now, I think I mentioned this already. Tomorrow is obviously the big day. Going to make a prediction video, going to make some other videos before the election. Then I'm going to live stream throughout the night. Follow me on Twitter. Maybe give me a message if you want to call in. I'm going to try and set something up there just so I don't get bored throughout the night because it's going to be a long night. Also, check me out on Twitter. So that's at the Kavernacle on Twitter and on Instagram if you want to get in contact. My Reddit is r/for_Kavernacle for my subreddit, u/TommyCahill1995 for my personal Reddit. If you want to check out my Patreon, most of my content is demonetized, so any support there is very much appreciated. Also, check out my podcast, my Medium, and my WordPress in the description. So, good luck, Americans, and that we will be looking on with great interest. But if it really affects us here in the short term, I guess that remains to be seen. But like you, just because I find him so arrogant and irritable, I will be celebrating if Donald Trump gets voted out. I do respect, though, that it's just a return to oligarch status quo in the US if Joe Biden wins. So stay tuned tomorrow for all the other content I will be publishing, and if you made it this far, thank you for watching.